Eli was alone. His small ship, the Warden, landed on the icy moon called Exera 9. Cold winds howled outside as snow covered everything. This place had no cities, no people. Only old machines, broken research posts, and forgotten memories. Eli wasn't a soldier or hero. He was just a repair engineer sent by the Earth Federation to fix an old emergency beacon that had started sending strange signals. Most people ignored calls from this part of space. But Eli was used to quiet jobs far from others. The moment he stepped out of the ship, the cold hit him hard, even through his thermal suit. He looked at his scanner. The signal's close. Less than 500 meters, he muttered. Snow crunched under his boots. The world around him was dead white silent. Frozen, endless. After walking for 10 minutes, he reached a metal structure half buried in snow. It looked like a wrecked alien shuttle, old, torn apart, but not fully destroyed. Then he saw something strange, a pulse, a faint life sign. His scanner blinked. Someone was alive. Inside the wreck, Eli didn't think. He ran forward, brushed off snow and ice with his gloved hands, and pulled open the bent metal door. Cold air rushed out. The inside was dark, full of broken glass and wires. Then he saw her, a woman, not human, not machine. Something else. She lay curled in a corner, wearing torn armor. Her skin was a soft violet color, glowing faintly under the emergency lights. Long silver hair covered part of her face. Her lips were blue, eyes closed. She looked like she hadn't moved in days. He checked her vitals with the scanner. Still alive, he whispered. Barely. Without wasting time, he lifted her carefully in his arms. She was cold, so cold but light. Like a feather wrapped in armor. Back in the Warden, Eli placed her on the medbed. His ship's eye scanned her body. Internal bleeding, low oxygen, frostbite, cracked bones. Yet somehow she was alive. What were you doing here? He asked softly, even though she couldn't hear. The med system worked fast. It patched her wounds, gave her oxygen, and raised her body temperature. Her chest began to rise slowly. Life was returning. Then something strange happened. Her wristplate blinked with alien symbols. A soft pulse shot into the air like an invisible wave. Eli didn't notice. He sat near her, watching, waiting. Hours passed. Outside, the storm grew worse. But inside the ship, it was warm, calm, and full of questions. Then, suddenly she gasped. Her eyes opened wide, glowing blue with golden rings. She looked around in panic, then locked her eyes on Eli. Eli stood up fast. Hey, it's okay. You're safe now. She stared at him, confused, breathing hard. Then slowly, she pushed herself up with weak arms. Her body trembled, but she didn't fall. She looked at Eli again, and then did something unexpected. She knelt, head low, one hand on her chest. I belong to you, she said, her voice cracked and soft. I owe you my breath. Eli blinked. What? No, I just helped you. You were dying. That's all. But she shook her head. You gave me life. You are my bonded one now. Before he could say anything, she reached forward and gently touched his hand. Her fingers were warm now. Her eyes, still glowing, looked serious and sad. By the laws of my people, she whispered, a life saved is a life claimed. Eli pulled his hand back. He was confused, nervous. Look, I don't know what laws you're talking about, but I'm just a tech guy. I fix things. I didn't mean to claim anything. She smiled weakly. It does not matter what you meant. The bond is made. The signal is sent. What signal? She pointed to her wristplate. My people know. They will come. Eli's heart skipped a beat. Who were her people? Were they friendly? Did they think he kidnapped her? Would they blame him? He looked at her again. She was beautiful, strange, and strong even in weakness. But her words brought danger. A bond? A signal? Outside, the storm howled louder. Inside, Eli sat beside an alien woman who now believed she was his. By law. A law he didn't understand, and far, far away across the stars, someone had received the signal. They were already coming. The ship was silent. Eli stood near the control panel, watching the strange alien woman sleep. Her breathing was steady now. The color had returned to her skin, soft violet glowing under the medbay lights. She looked peaceful, like she belonged. In a painting, not on a dying ice moon. He took a sip of cold coffee, still thinking about her words. Bonded one. The signal is sent. What did that mean? He checked the galaxy net again, still no reply from the Federation. He was alone. No backup, no advice. Just him and her. Then he heard movement. The medbed beeped. Eli turned quickly. She was awake. Again, this time fully, sitting up. Her long silver hair fell over her shoulder. Her sharp eyes scanned the room, then locked on him. Her voice was soft but clear. You are the one who saved me. Eli gave a small nod. Yeah, I found you. In the snow. You were almost gone. She tilted her head, studying him. Then, she slid off the medbed and knelt before him on one knee. Her armor clinked softly as she placed a hand on her chest. Then I am yours, she said. Eli blinked. Sorry, what? She looked up, her eyes glowing gold blue. You claimed my life when you gave it back. That is the old law. I am your bondmate now. Eli took a step back. Bondmate? Wait, are you saying we're married now? She didn't smile. She was completely serious. You saved my breath. Now I belong to you. It is written in the stars. And in blood. Eli stared at her like she was speaking fire. No, look, I helped you because it was the right thing. That's all. No bond, no marriage. That's not how humans do it. But she stood slowly, her hands still clasped over her chest. But that is how my people do it. She took a few weak steps. Forward, close enough that he could see the faint marks on her neck symbols burned into her skin. Like tattoos. Royal marks. He realized something. She wasn't just a soldier or explorer. She was someone important. Who are you? He asked. She looked him in the eyes. I am Rava Thalvara, first daughter of the matron of Velex Prime, warrior of the Moon Shield, princess of the Sixth Flame. Eli's mouth went dry. Princess. This just got worse. Okay, Your Highness. That single quote's S. Impressive. But listen, this was a rescue, not a wedding. Rava didn't flinch. You have the right to reject the bond. But if you do, my people will see it as dishonor. The penalty for a broken life bond is death. Eli froze. Wait, death? Yours or mine? Mine, she said it calmly. No fear. No sadness, like it was just a fact. That's insane. Eli shouted. Why would anyone agree to that? She looked down. Because we are raised to die with honor. Better to vanish than to be unwanted. A heavy silence filled the room. Eli stared at her. He didn't want to hurt her. But he couldn't promise marriage to a stranger from a culture he didn't understand. Before he could reply, a sharp alarm rang across the ship. The console flashed red. Incoming ship detected, unauthorized landing T-minus 90 SECO and DS. Eli ran to the panel. Someone's landing nearby. No response code. Rava's face went pale. They found us. Your people? Eli asked. She nodded. The Royal Guard. Eli frowned. Good. Maybe they can take you home. But Rava shook her head. No, if they see me alive and bonded. They will demand a ritual confirmation if you deny me. They will call it false bonding. I will be put to the blade. Quickly and without mercy. Eli stared out the window. The ship was already coming down, sleek, black, armored. Not a rescue ship. A warship. Rava stepped beside him. You must decide. If you claim me now, they will honor it. But if you hesitate, you will watch me die. Eli's heart pounded in his chest. He had no weapons, no plan, no time. Just one choice. Outside, the ship's engines roared as it landed in the snow. Inside, Rava stood calm and still, her eyes waiting for his answer. Snow flew in every direction as the alien ship landed beside Eli's craft. The engines roared, spraying ice like dust. The ship was shaped like a black dagger, tall and sharp, with glowing red lights along its wings. Eli stood frozen at the window. Beside him, Rava didn't move. Her hands were behind her back, her chin raised, calm, royal. "They are here," she said softly. Eli swallowed hard. "What are they going to do? They will test you. They will test me. And they will not be kind." The ship's door opened. A ramp extended into the snow. 6 armored figures walked down in perfect silence. They wore silver armor with blue war cloaks and helmets shaped like beasts. Each carried a glowing weapon on their back, a long energy blade that hummed with quiet danger. One of them stepped forward. He removed his helmet. His face was sharp, scarred, and full of rage. "Princess Rava Thalvara," he said loudly, voice like a blade cutting wind. "You live. This is unexpected." Rava nodded slightly. "Guard Captain Corrin, I greet you." With honor, Corrin's eyes shifted to Eli. "And this creature? This soft skin, is this the one you claim as your bonded?" Eli raised a hand awkwardly. "Hi, Eli Carter. Human. Just a repair guy." Corrin cut him off. Silence. He turned back to Rava. "You know the law. The bond must be proven. Was he chosen by the fire, or was he a coward who touched what is not his?" Rava stepped forward. "He saved my life with no weapon, no ship, and no knowledge of our ways. He risked everything." Corrin's lips curled. "Then he must face the trial of worth. If he passes, we honor the bond. If he fails, your life is forfeit." Eli's heart pounded. Wait, why is her life at risk? I'm the one on trial." Corrin's voice was ice. "Because a false bond is shame, and shame dies in blood." Rava didn't look afraid. Eli did. 2 guards walked forward. One tossed a long cloak at Eli's feet. The other dropped a belt with a glowing circular stone. "Put these on. The trial begins now." Inside the cold mountain behind the crash site, there was an ancient arena round, silent, carved into the ice by alien hands. It had no audience. Only the cold wind and a glowing sky above. Eli stood at the center, wearing the trial cloak, belt strapped across his chest. Rava stood outside the ring, arms folded, watching him. Behind her, the guards stood like statues. A booming voice filled the air. "Corrins, this is the trial of worth. 3 tests: courage, wisdom, and sacrifice. Fail anyone, and the bond is broken, and she dies." Eli took a deep breath. No pressure. He muttered. "Test 1. Courage." A huge wall of flame burst from the ground. A creature appeared, mechanical, 4-legged, with spinning blades for arms and glowing red eyes. It screamed like metal scraping metal. Eli had no weapons. The stone on his belt beeped, his mind filled with words. "This creature cannot be killed. You must reach its heart without running." It charged. Eli jumped aside, rolled through the snow, slid under its legs, and ran toward the center. The blades passed inches from his face. Sparks burned through his cloak. He didn't stop. He climbed its back. It threw him off. He got up bleeding, dizzy, but kept walking. Finally, he touched its chest. The creature vanished into light. The first test was done. Test 2, wisdom. He now stood in a frozen cave with floating symbols all around. The I voice in the stone said, "Only one door leads forward. Others lead to death. Solve the sequence." Eli stared. The symbols shifted. Alien math. He took a breath and spoke to the AI aloud. "These aren't numbers. They're star positions, aligned with Valek's moons." He followed the shadows on the floor, chose the center door. Light swallowed him. He survived. Test 3. Sacrifice now. He was in a dark room. A figure appeared before him. It looked like Rava. You must choose, the AI said, to save her. You must lose a piece of yourself, your memories, your past, your family. Choose one to erase. Eli closed his eyes. He thought of Earth, his old home, his sister's smile, his father's last words. And then he chose, take my childhood. Pain shot through his head like lightning. He screamed. Then, silence. Back in the arena, Eli fell to the ground, breathing heavy, skin cold, face pale. Rava ran to him, dropped to her knees. You passed, she whispered. Corin stepped forward. For the first time, he bowed his head. By the laws of flame and bond, he said, we accept you. Ele looked up at Rava, barely conscious. Tell me I didn't just marry into a war cult, he whispered. She smiled and helped him stand. No, she said, you married into something far more dangerous. The air still smelled of smoke. Eli stood in the cold arena, barely on his feet. His body ached, his head pounded, and something inside him felt missing, like a dream had been erased from his soul. But he was alive. And more importantly, so was Rova. The alien guards who once doubted him now stood silent. Corin, the scarred commander, walked forward with a blade in hand. It was long, elegant, and burned with slow blue fire. He held it out handle first. You passed the trial of worth, he said. Now comes the ritual of fire. Eli blinked. Wait, there's more? Rava stepped closer, calm and steady. It is not a test. It is a mark, a seal of the bond. The sword accepts the worthy, or rejects the false. Corin nodded. You must touch the flame. If it burns you, the bond was false. If it accepts you, the bloodline accepts you. Eli looked at the sword. It hummed softly in the air. The flame was beautiful and terrifying. He reached out. His fingers shook. The fire danced like it knew him. It touched his skin and vanished. No pain, no burn. Just light. The sword glowed white for a second, then cooled. The guards gasped. Koran stepped back, eyes wide. The blade accepted him. Even our own warriors are burned half the time. Rava allowed herself a smile. He is not like the others. Eli chuckled. I'm just a guy who fixes engines. Later that night, inside the warmth of the royal ship, Eli sat in a long room lit by floating blue lanterns. The walls were covered in metallic cloth that shimmered like starlight. He sipped something hot and strange from a silver cup. It tasted like honey and fire. Rava sat across from him, finely out of armor. She wore simple royal robes, deep purple with silver trim. Her silver hair was braided, falling over one shoulder. For the first time, she looked relaxed. You're handling all this better than I expected, Eli said. Rava raised a brow. I was trained to rule empires, not to be rescued by a lonely mechanic with bad coffee. Eli grinned. Hey, my coffee saved your life. She didn't laugh, but she did smile. Then her eyes grew serious. Eli, you must know, this bond may have started as law, but it does not have to stay that way. What do you mean? She looked down at her cup. If you wish to leave, I won't stop you. I will return home alone and face what comes. Eli leaned back. Rava, I didn't just save you because of some weird alien rule. I couldn't walk away. You were freezing to death alone in the snow. I did what anyone with a heart would have done. She looked at him, eyes glowing gently in the lantern light. Not everyone would have. There was silence between them. Then the ship shook. Alarms echoed through the halls. Guards shouted in their native tongue. Rava stood quickly. What now? Eli said, standing too. A guard burst into the room. My princess, a rogue vessel is approaching. No identification. Weapons locked. Rava's face hardened. It's them. Who? Eli asked. The ones who left me for dead. The screen lit up. A sleek crimson ship hovered outside the atmosphere. The face on the screen made Eli's blood turn cold. It was another alien. Same species, same royal markings. But his eyes were cold and cruel. "Rava," the man said, smirking. "You live." "How disappointing." "Varek," Rava replied. Her voice was calm, but cold as steel. "I expected you would try this." Eli stepped forward. "Friend of yours?" She didn't look at him. "My ex-fiancé, the one I rejected. He arranged my exile. Left me on that moon to die." Varek laughed. "And now you return, bonded to a human?" He spat the word like poison. "You shame our people. But no matter, you won't reach the capital. I will end this and claim your seat." The screen cut off. Rava turned to Eli. "You are not a warrior. I won't ask you to fight." But Eli was already moving to the console. "You don't have to. I'm not going to fight like him. I'll fight like a human." He pulled open the ship's system, studied the enemy's position, energy fields, and weapon paths. His hands flew over the controls. Rava stared. "What are you doing?" Eli grinned. "Upgrading your shields, rerouting engine heat to fake a plasma overload, and feeding the enemy a false lock signal. In basic words, I'm going to make him think we're about to explode. When he backs off, I'll blind his ship with a pulse. Your guards can take it from there." Rava blinked. Then laughed. Actually laughed. "You are very strange, Eli Carter." "Yeah," he said, "but I get results." The enemy ship hung outside the atmosphere like a predator waiting for blood. Inside the royal vessel, tension grew like a storm. The halls were quiet, but not calm. Guards moved into position. Weapons were loaded. Shields flickered. Everyone knew this could turn into war in seconds. Eli stood at the control station, hands steady on the console. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't trained to fight, but he was human. And that meant something. Behind him, Rava watched with silent respect. He had no blade, but his mind was sharp. "System ready," Eli said, eyes locked on the screen. "Decode overload in 3, 2. He pressed the trigger. Suddenly, the royal ship's engines flared bright red. Plasma vents exploded outward, painting the sky in fiery light. On the enemy ship, sensors screamed out to Varek. It looked like the ship was overheating seconds from a blast that could take out everything nearby. And just like Eli planned, Varek flinched. His ship backed off. "Now," Eli said. He sent a focused pulse through space, just strong enough to blind the enemy's sensors for 10 seconds. That was enough. From the royal ship's lower deck, 3 stealth shuttles launched. Rava's guards boarded Varek's ship in total silence. Eli and Rava watched the screen as the enemy ship lights flickered, then went dark. "They've taken the bridge," a guard confirmed over comms. "Varek has been captured." Eli exhaled deeply. "Not bad for a soft skin, huh?" Rava smiled, but her eyes stayed on the dark screen. "He would have killed me and taken my family's throne." "You stopped him." "We stopped him," Eli said. She looked at him, then really looked, not just as the man who saved her. Not as the outsider who passed ancient trials, but as a man who stood beside her when it mattered most. A man who didn't need to fight with blades, because he fought with heart. That evening, the ship returned to peaceful travel. The stars moved slowly outside the windows. The halls no longer echoed with fear. Eli sat on the viewing deck, legs stretched out, drink in hand. Rava entered quietly and sat beside him. For a while, neither said anything. Just silence. Then Rava spoke. "Do you know why I was on that moon?" Eli looked at her. "Exile?" She nodded. Double quotes, "Yes, but not for failure. Not for weakness. I was exiled because I said no." He listened closely. "My mother arranged a marriage to Varek, a powerful bond to join 2 houses. I refused. I told her I would not be a weapon for others to use. So they left you to die. Reva's voice was soft. I was royalty, but I had no freedom. I was strong, but I had no choice. She looked at Eli, and then you came, a stranger, a human. You did not try to own me or use me, you simply helped me live. Eli gave a quiet smile. It's called decency. She shook her head. No, it's called humanity. And I am beginning to see why your kind is feared and respected. She leaned back, gazing at the stars. You didn't just save me, Eli. You reminded me what it means to choose. And for the first time in my life, I want to choose something. He turned to her. What's that? She looked into his eyes. You. Eli's breath caught in his chest. She reached out, gently took his hand. No orders, no law, just choice. Before either could say more, the console near them blinked red. Incoming transmission. Velex Prime Royal Doxa voice crackled through. Princess Rava, your arrival is confirmed. Ceremony preparations are complete. Ceremony? Eli leaned forward. What ceremony? Rava pulled her hand back. Her voice turned cold. The bonding ritual, public, official. Eli stared. You mean a royal wedding? She nodded slowly. Once we land, everything becomes real. The court will expect it. The people will demand it. There is no going back. Eli stood up. Rava, I didn't come this far to be forced into anything. Not even by your people. She looked up at him, hurt flickering in her eyes. You think I would force you? He paused. His tone softened. No, I'm saying I need to be sure. I don't want to stand in front of a crowd and lie to them, or to you. She nodded slowly. With respect. Then tonight we decide, together. That night, in a quiet chamber of the ship, they sat across from each other again. No weapons, no guards. No rules, just two souls asking the same question. Do we choose this? The fire between them was no longer tradition. It was something real. Something earned. But outside, on the royal homeworld, thousands were already watching the skies. Waiting for the ship. Waiting for the bond. The ship hovered above Velex Prime, a glowing planet of deep oceans and golden towers. Lights stretched across the continents like living veins. Massive cities sparkled beneath a violet sky filled with floating ships, banners, and beams of royal light. They were home. Rava stood in the viewing chamber, wearing a simple robe. Her long silver hair fell loose around her shoulders, untouched by ceremony. The lights of her homeworld reflected in her eyes, but her heart felt far from home. Behind her, Eli stepped in. His clothes had changed. A dark tunic made of alien silk, with a silver crest of Rava's house stitched across the chest. He looked uncomfortable. I look like I just got adopted by space royalty, he muttered. Rava gave a small smile. You did. They both stood in silence, watching the planet below. They expect a wedding, Eli said quietly. Tomorrow. In front of the whole empire. Yes, Rava replied. It will be broadcast to billions. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. That's a lot of pressure for someone who just wanted to fix a broken beacon. She turned to him. You can still walk away. You've done more than enough. You've passed every trial. You saved my life. You saved my people. If you say no now, I will protect your name and I'll go through the ritual alone. Eli looked at her. Her eyes weren't just alien. They were honest, brave, and tired. I don't want to walk away, he said. Then what do you want? Eli hesitated. I want the truth. Do you want me, or do you want someone who fits your world? Rava stepped closer. I want someone who sees me as a person, not a crown, not a tradition, not a symbol. She placed her hand gently over his chest. You never asked what I was worth. You never tried to own me. You let me choose. Eli looked down at her hand. Then let's choose this. Not for the world, not for the crown, but for us. They stood together, forehead to forehead, a soft silence growing between them. No fire, no shouting. Just a quiet, warm connection that felt stronger than any oath. Later that night, while the world below celebrated with music, fireworks, and dances. In the streets, Rava and Eli stayed inside a private chamber, a place untouched by duty. They shared stories. Not of war, not of politics. Just memories. Eli spoke about his little sister who sent him dumb jokes through space mail. About his dad who once repaired a shuttle with duct tape and stubbornness. About the time he nearly crashed into Saturn's ring because he was half asleep at the controls. Rava laughed, really laughed. She told him about sneaking out of Royal School to race hoverbikes in the canyon. About her mother's terrifying war stories. About the time she fell asleep in court and blamed it on meditation. They talked for hours. No one interrupted. No guards. No orders. Just two people who had seen each other at their lowest and were still standing. But just before midnight, Rava froze. Her wrist device lit up. She pressed it quickly and read the message. Her face changed. The glow in her eyes faded. "What is it?" Eli asked. She handed him the device. One line flashed in red. "Warning. Honor assassins dispatched. You must not complete the bond." Eli blinked. "What the hell is an honor assassin?" Rava whispered, voice tight. "A secret tradition. One my mother never told me about." "Explain." "If the royal bloodline fears disgrace, they can send assassins to kill both bondmates before the ceremony. That way, the blood is preserved, but the shame is erased." Eli's stomach turned. "They'd kill you too?" Rava nodded. "Too. Them. It's cleaner than a scandal." Eli clenched his jaw. "You've got to be kidding me." She stepped forward. "We must leave, now. If we run, won't that confirm their shame? If we stay, we die." Suddenly the lights flickered. A humming noise echoed through the floor. "Too late," Rava whispered. "They're already inside." They rushed out of the chamber into the dim halls. Outside, the sky was alive with fireworks, but inside, the royal ship had gone quiet, too. Quiet. Eli pulled a panel from the wall and hacked into the security feed. 4 figures in black cloaks moved through the halls. They carried curved blades made of pure plasma, faces hidden. Movements fast. Assassins. Rava grabbed a staff from the weapons rack. Eli found a shock baton. "We can't beat them head on," he said. "But I can trap them." He tapped into the ship's floor system, rerouting the fire suppression vents. "Lure them to hallway C7, he told Rava. "I'll take care of the rest." She nodded without hesitation. "Try not to die, human," he smirked. "Not before the wedding." The halls of the royal ship were quiet too. Quiet. Only the sound of boots on steel echoed as the honor assassins moved through the shadows. They were fast, silent, deadly trained since birth to erase shame from royal bloodlines. But tonight, they weren't hunting traitors. They were hunting a woman who dared to choose love and the human who gave it. Back, hallway C7. Eli crouched behind a corner, watching the security feed through his wrist console. Rava had done her part, luring the assassins straight into the trap. He whispered, "Come on, a little closer." The 4 figures stepped into the corridor cloaked, ready to kill. Eli hit the button. FWOOS. Hidden vents above exploded with blinding white gas plasma reactive smoke designed to short out energy blades. The assassins jumped back, but too late. Their weapons sparked and died. Eli charged in, swinging the shock baton. He wasn't a fighter, but he was clever, quick, and desperate. One hit, then he ducked a fist and rolled under a blade. From the other side, Rava appeared like lightning. Staff spinning, eyes glowing with fury. Crack! One assassin went down. Slam! Another slammed into the wall. They fought side by side, Eli with human grit, Rava with royal fury, and finally, the last assassin fell. Breathing hard, blood on her cheek, Rava turned to Eli. "You all right?" Eli nodded, chest heaving. "That was your version of wedding rehearsal?" She laughed softly, even in pain. The real one is worse. But now, they had a choice. They could run, or they could face the world. Eli looked at Rava as she stood. Beneath the flickering lights, bruised but unbroken, not just a princess, a warrior, a leader, a woman who risked everything for freedom. He stepped forward, took her hand. Let's finish what we started. The bonding ceremony, Velex Prime, the next morning. The golden towers of Velex Prime echoed with chants and horns. Billions watched from every screen across the stars. The great arena was filled with nobles, warriors, scholars, and citizens. At the center stood a glowing platform. Rova walked across it. No crown, no mask, no royal guards. Just herself. Free. Eli followed beside her, dressed in ceremonial robes, black and silver, with the symbol of Earth stitched over his heart. The High Matron stood above them, face hidden behind the veil of fire. She raised her hand. By the old blood and new fire, she said, do you offer your vow? Rova turned to Eli. I was born into power, trained to rule, expected to obey, but I chose you. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. She touched his chest. You saw me when I was broken, and you didn't run. This bond is not tradition. It is truth. The matron looked at Eli. He stepped forward. I'm not from this world. I don't know all your rules. But I know this, what we have isn't about blood or politics. It's about trust. He reached out, took her hand in front of the galaxy. I don't vow because I'm told to. I vow because I believe in you. The matron slowly removed her veil. For the first time the galaxy saw her face, and it was smiling. Then let it be written. This is the bond that shook the stars. Epilogue. 1 year later, somewhere deep in neutral space, a new outpost blinked to life. A joint human Velex station. Engineers worked beside warriors. Scientists taught students. And at the center of it all, two figures walked side by side. Eli Carter, Princess Rava Thalvara. No longer strangers. No longer symbols. Just partners. Chosen. In choosing every single day.